All right, good morning, everyone. Spencer Andreas with your May 23rd operational update for the south zone of the Calf Canyon incident. So we're going to start on the east side of the incident. So yesterday, very productive day, very few limited calls for service, which is good, which means things are winding down. Again, like I alluded to yesterday, we're working on a rehab plan. So rehab, as I talked about yesterday, we're going to come in with specialized crews to start fixing road systems. You know, the watershed is extremely important in here, so I know that's going to be their number one priority. So again, a lot of plans are going to be worked on today and throughout the week to get those crews in place. So you'll see throughout the whole, all the way to the southern perimeter, we have all this black line. Black line's a good thing. I know a question came up yesterday. What does black line mean? What's the significance? So black line correlates to containment. So today, if you look, we're looking at 40% containment. So the reference to black line is it's controlled. We're comfortable with it. We've gone in, we've mop up definition. So, and I'll use that term a lot today, is crews go in with hose, tools. They go in sometimes 300 to 500 feet within our fire perimeter. They put everything out until we're comfortable. And normally what we'll do is usually at least 3 days of no heat. That's when we start turning the red, our fire's edge, into black. As we add black to our map, those containment numbers will go up. So as we start to turn the corner from the south into the west, and you see more black throughout the week as we get our crews inserted, those containment numbers will go up. So it's a very good thing. The bad thing is if they go down. So we're going to continue working up that southwest edge, and you'll see those containment numbers hopefully go up in the next few days. All right, so yesterday, very good day. We had good favorable weather. Crews were able to insert and get a lot of this fire moved up to our existing containment lines, which is great. So now we have a lot of efforts on the ground mopping up. So all this fire has got to our all of our containment lines and our direct line that we put in with dozers and crews. So now the efforts are going to be throughout this area today, tonight, tomorrow, and the next few days of getting this all mopped up. Moving north up towards the Bull Creek area, today's plan is we're going to be inserting several hand crews into the southern piece. And what their goal is, they're going to do direct hand line to try and cut this southern piece of this fire off. So this will, and then tie it into the 203 road. So that's going to be the big plan and emphasis today and tomorrow. Moving to the north, all this remains in check, where crews are still mopping up this fire's edge all the way up through the Elk Mountain area. Up into the north, into what we're referencing Division Hotel, we're validating our hand line opportunities. So we're looking at about 10 miles of hand line into the wilderness to start looking at cutting this thing off. So a couple things we're doing today is we're actually bringing in a aerial surveillance plane that's going to come from the north zone or the northeast zone, which is another managed fire from the Southwest Team 1. They're going to fly from north to south and validate what our proposed hand line construction is going to be, looking to see if it's viable. So it's very high up in the wilderness. So we have had crews up there, but we're going to start all the way up at the edge of the north and south zone and work down. So we're going to validate that and start to, once we get a lot of this stuff tied in the southern portion of the fire, start allocating those resources up to the north. So a lot of things happening today. Over in the Pecos community, we still have a lot of presence of crews doing structure prep. So one thing we did note is a lot of locked gates. So as the evacuation orders and the green status came into effect, we noticed a lot of locked gates. So one thing to remember is if you do ever get evacuated, leave your gates open so that way we can get in. So we've came across a lot more structures than we anticipated. So crews are in there actively prepping homes, we're validating, we're getting as much data as possible to be prepared for should that fire come out and we have to do any structure defense in here. A couple things of note for yesterday. We received a large amount of resources from the state of New Mexico, so we've got several from Santa Fe County, a task force. So task force is a mixed combination of equipment, so different types of engines, there's overhead, there's water tenders, so it was a sum of around 10 resources. So those folks have been inserted in our structure group and will be working in that area. California also provided us 3 strike teams of engines, so those folks are going to be working in the Division Charlie and Echo area today. And then lastly, the West Zone. So the West Zone, which is being managed by California Incident Management Team 2, they're starting to wind down. So they called us yesterday and said they had a lot of resources that they could free up. So they actually sent us about 15 engines yesterday and a few more coming today. So very, very good day. We got a lot of augmentation to our resources, which is great. We're able to really, really concentrate our efforts and put a lot more firefighters on the ground to help remedy this incident. So with that, thank you for listening and have a great day.